کنفرانس بین المللی ایران آزاد قیام برای تغییر رژیم 29 ژوئن 2018.
Buon pomeriggio. Da circa 40 anni la dittatura teocratica dell'Iran opprime il popolo iraniano e per questo è stato più volte condannato dall'ONU. E da varie organizzazioni per la difesa dei diritti umani. In questi anni gli iraniani hanno subito una devastante forma di repressione ed oppressione ed una perpetua violazione dei diritti umani. Impiccagioni in piazza, esecuzioni, torture, abusi sessuali a danno dei prigionieri politici, lapidazioni, amputazioni degli arti, arresti arbitrari e negazioni delle libertà fondamentali dei cittadini. Nell'estate del 1988, il caso più clamoroso, il regime iraniano ha giustiziato sommariamente e in modo extragiudiziale più di 30.000 prigionieri politici, la maggior parte dei quali membri del movimento di opposizione, i Mujahideen, detenuti nelle carceri di tutto il paese, sulla base di un decreto religioso, fatwa, dell'allora leader supremo Khomeini. Secondo la relazione delle Nazioni Unite, l'Iran è al primo posto per il numero di impiccagioni relativo alla sua popolazione. L'economia è distrutta, insieme a una corruzione generalizzata. La ricchezza del paese è stata spesa per progetti missilistici. Il terrorismo nella regione del Medio Oriente ha portato il 75% della popolazione sotto la soglia di povertà e fame. Le contestazioni, le proteste antigovernative, gli scioperi organizzati dai diversi settori sociali e lavorativi in diverse città e diverse regioni del Paese sono i fattori che testimoniano, danno credibilità e che minano direttamente all'interno il regime dittatoriale clericale che domina in Iran da circa 40 anni. È arrivato il momento opportuno e storico che la comunità internazionale si avvicini al popolo iraniano e alla loro legittima resistenza, che tra l'altro sostiene una piattaforma in 10 punti della signora Rajavi, presidente eletta del CNRI. È arrivato il tempo di un cambio democratico del regime, che rimane l'unica alternativa che favorirebbe la libertà per l'Iran, la pace e la stabilità per l'intera regione del Medio Oriente e non solo, perché adesso il cambio totale del regime in Iran è una realtà possibile. Grazie.
Dear Iranian friends, thank you to inviting me here. Ladies and gentlemen, in these 5 years since I joined this movement, I have realized two important things. First, the opposition is getting stronger and stronger, and it continues to resist and to fight for Iran, even from prison, despite the inhuman conditions. In the same time, I realized the power that women have. I was shocked to see so many unarmed women standing fearless in streets, protesting and confronting the armed revolutionary guards and refusing to give up despite being arrested and tortured. Their courage and determination must inspire us so that we who support this movement become more vocal, brave, more imposing before our governments or international authorities, and demand a firm position involving firm sanctions for the Iranian regime. Most Iranians are dissatisfied with the regime, and the National Council of Resistance of Iran, led by Mrs. Maryam Rajavi, is the only powerful democratic alternative on the Iranian political scene. So youngsters are most determined that ever to come into the streets. They need international support in order to achieve their freedom. Our support for establishing democracy in Iran guarantees the durability and survival of democracy in all civilized countries of the world. The mullahs regime has been condemned by the United Nations for 64 times because of the gross human rights violations over the past 39 years. Every year, public executions increase substantially in number. In prisons, the prisoners are subject to physical and psychological torture. With this brief review of the conditions in Iran, it is certain that the resistance in Iran rising higher and higher, and the victory is near. The mullahs must be sent to the dustbin of history. Thank you very much.
It is important that the movement we support today is seen in practice, in philosophy, as a global movement. And so we are very proud to be here for these few days again to support the vision of Madame Rajavi, and more importantly than that, to support the people on the streets of Iran. The former US President Barack Obama used to often quote Martin Luther King and say that the arc of history is long, but it bends towards justice. What is not often mentioned is that it takes people to do the bending of the arc. And what we are witnessing in Iran at the moment is the bending of that arc towards justice by the Iranian people with amazing courage. I spent some time in Iran a number of years ago making a documentary about returned refugees and how they are treated by the regime. We were arrested 3 times in one day. We were released and we got out of the country, but it gave me a little bit of an insight into what it is like to live under oppression, what it is like to live under persecution, and most of us in the Western world have no idea. And in the wake of that, to see these young people and these women, as Maria just said, to stand up in the face of that and claim their just place in the world is something that not only deserves our admiration, it fundamentally deserves our solidarity and our action. But I think at the moment in Iran we're seeing a new history written. That's more than hope. So yes, we live in hope, but more important than that, those of us who support this movement, we need to live in expectation of the change that is inevitable. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for the invitation to come here again. Now, all of Europe have representatives now, but what is really remarkable is, since a couple of years, that although there are clubs of a free Iran in the Islamic countries too, in Northern Africa, Egypt, and so on, but in the Middle East too. That's a remarkable development, and we have to be thankful to Madame Rajavi's organization that they take care of the changing world in this development, that Iran is becoming more and more isolated now. And that's extremely important, I believe. So the world is changed enormously. We have to make use of the social media to support the people there. And that is a remarkable change compared when we started our support to the National Council of Resistance. Thank you very much for your attention.
Greetings, everyone, from a very long way away. What has happened over the last year has been that a number of Australian senators have become very interested in what is happening in Iran, and just last week there were speeches in our Australian Senate by 4 senators, and a petition has been signed by almost a quarter of the Senate. So the whole issue of what is going on in Iran now is becoming much more part of the Australian political firmament. I think that what's happening on the streets in Tehran is really incredibly, well, not just Tehran, but the interesting thing is that it's happening in other towns around Iran, and it's really significant because it is continuing every week or every second week. These protests are happening. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. I congratulate you for your resistance and determination in fighting for your cause, what you believe is best for your country and the women and men of Iran. Democracy and freedom from Iran translate into security and stability in the region, peace and opportunity to prosper. That's why Europe and Union Europe can no longer ignore that need, and Europe must complete strategy to sanction all extremist regimes, Iran included. I salute your commitment and Ms. Mariam Rajavi commitment to adhere to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and relevant covenants, including freedom of expression, freedom of profession, prevention of any violation of individual and social rights and freedom. A particular point I should like to point is the equal opportunities for women and men, because that is essential for a functional democracy and prosperous future for all Iranians. Therefore, I strongly support your view of the right of women to be elect in all elections, the right to suffrage in all referendums, the right to employment and free selection of profession, and the right to hold any public office or profession, including the presidency or judgeship, the right to freely choose clothing and covering, and the right to use without discrimination all instructional, educational, artistic resources. Please allow me to express my solidarity with the Iranian women. I personally encourage you to continue and hope that we shall meet again soon with good news for Iranian people. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That brings the list of speakers to a conclusion. However, it was interesting from watching the video clips and from all of the contributions that there was a common theme or a common thread running through all of the contributors' comments around the need for the uprising to be supported, the regime to come to an end, and that we all must work together across various political backgrounds from all countries to support each other in this common goal of bringing about peace, stability, freedom, and the right to vote and the equality that women deserve in Iran as well. Thank you very much.